I am so excited to share with you, because in this reading we're going to be exploring through the use of tarot 5 easy ways that you can connect with your inner goddess and to really radiate your natural goddess potential and goddess energy, because everyone has an inner goddess in there waiting to be tapped into. And you might find that you tap into your inner goddess sometimes when others aren't looking, and then, you know, when you're less confident, maybe you're not so sure of yourself, you may struggle to tap into your inner goddess. But in any case, we're going to find out specifically what may be blocking your inner goddess from expressing herself and what you can do today, along with, like I've said, some practical tips, because that's the most important part, about how you can actually go about embodying this goddess energy. So I just want to say before we start that I make tarot readings here on YouTube and host workshops that you can get involved with. Over here we're all about self-actualization, expansion, and generally just spreading good vibes. So if this sounds like something that you're into, then be sure to click the subscribe button down below and join the family. Before we start with this reading, I want you to know that I actually channel these messages with the intention of them being an empowering way of connecting with the guidance that the universe has to offer. As we all know, energy is super malleable, so this psychic prediction does not seal your fate, and instead it gives a signal to what you may currently be manifesting. So I want you to know that you are the sailor of your own ship and that you're in total control of your own destiny. So now, if you can take 3 deep breaths in and out. In, out. In and out. So now you can ask yourself, which pile or number are you intuitively drawn to? Which crystal do you feel called to? Feel free to pause the video here if you would need a little bit more time to decide, but we have pile 1 here with the black obsidian, pile 2 here which is amethyst, pile 3 which is clear quartz, pile 4 which is rose quartz, and pile 5 which is the celestite chunk. So now you've had some time to choose, then fast forward to your timestamp, and I am just so excited to get along with your reading. Goddess energy. So, hey to everyone that chose group number 1. I'm going to start with a message that if this doesn't align with you, maybe you can go back and choose another pile, because this is specifically for those of you in group number 1, which is that you guys have a darker energy. Some may call you kind of spiritual, or someone who's maybe into magic or the occult or things like that. Maybe quite, I don't want to say gothic, but you know that kind of vibe that I'm talking about. And I'm sensing that you're someone who people take seriously for that effect, and for that reason that people really see you in your goddess energy, because maybe you kind of stand out from the norm or the unexpected, or what's like assumed that someone should do in their life by society, for instance. I think that you kind of take that power back into your own hands, and you're like, well, I feel like I'm gonna do this now, so you guys can all suck my dick. So if that energy aligns with you, then this message is definitely for you. So yeah, let's get a little bit more into the reading. Okay, so we have the 3rd house. So it talks about friends, communication, community. Maybe you're someone who has a lot of friends and people see you as very like fertile and beautiful because of this. And I think that this is one way that you're able to connect with your goddess energy too. Okay. The next dice that we have is Venus, which again speaks heavily of that energy. Being an effective communicator and really having maybe a flair with words. Maybe you're really into poetry, spoken word, like maybe you're some kind of artist when it comes to communication. So I don't think you necessarily make pieces of art, but I think your communication is very artistic, and that definitely is one way that you connect with your goddess energy. And as well as maybe you've been through a lot of difficult experiences in your life that have shaped you, and through open communication with your friends and with other people, you've found a way to concretely understand your emotions. and define them and know how to empathize with them. And so I think you're very talented, like wordsmiths. Maybe some of you are into sewing as well, and you're like a seamstress, and that is definitely one way that your flair for self-expression comes forwards. The next dice we have is Gemini. So it's so funny, we've got the third house and Gemini. So maybe indeed you are a Gemini, or you know, you're represented by the imagery of the Gemini, which is the twins. And the legend of Gemini is that there were two twins, one mortal and one immortal, and the immortal one was allowed to go up to the mountains and celebrate with the gods, whereas the mortal twin was killed and sent to the underworld, and that represents, you know, the shadow side. So I think that that is one way that you connect with your goddess energy. Like perhaps you have a higher self who you feel very defined and connected to, whilst at the same time you have a shadow self which you're also very vulnerable and open about. And this duality represents the full goddess package, because it's like you can't have that dark without the light. But I think you're empowered both in your shadow and in your higher self, if that makes sense. Like you're very open about all sides of you, and you embrace them as who you are. You don't let that detract from the goddess energy within you. But yes, definitely sensing that you may be a Gemini or have a strong Gemini like presence, especially at this point in your life. So that could be in your sun, moon or rising, or just generally maybe you like to talk, you like to communicate, you like to express, you're quite chatty, or someone who's quite focused on love and beauty and with things that are quite visually appealing to you too. That is definitely one way that you maintain your goddess energy. But now moving into the cards for you. So now I'm going to talk about 5 ways that you can connect more with your goddess energy, because this is kind of just talking about what your goddess energy is. So the first card that we have for you is the 3 of Cups. So I think one way that you can connect more with your inner goddess is, as I said, by through community. And I think that this is something that you already do, but you are a very powerful manifestor when it comes to building communities up together, forming bridges between people, between the heavens and the earth. So maybe there's some kind of way in which you can get more involved with your community or more involved with your friendship circle, because I am definitely sensing that you're someone who thrives in a social environment, and that people are just automatically able to see your goddess energy. It just oozes out of you when you're in a social situation and you're able to communicate your ideas. You really do have the gift of the gab with the 3rd house and Gemini, and now the 3 of Cups, and the imagery of all of the 3s as well so far indicates that you are talented in bringing people together, especially so forming a community where there was none, for instance. So, you know, if you start at a new job role, you're going to be the one that organizes the first group drinks and gets everyone to know each other, and then everyone kind of looks up to you as like this mastermind whiz of communication and like those kinds of energies, because of what you're able to bring to the table in that respect. So yeah, I think that you're someone who has a lot of power. Maybe also you have very clear skin, and drinking water and keeping your skin clear it either is important to you or should be more important to you, depending on where you are in your like life stage, I guess. But I think that you are someone who definitely values like outwards appearances in any case, and that your skin is a reflection of this, because your skin is the barrier between the outside world and your internal world. So you having clear skin, I think, definitely represents your ability to present yourself in a really confident way in social settings, for instance. And you definitely know how to navigate social settings. Maybe you've had a lot of friends, or you have a lot of friends. Maybe some of you even wish that you had more friends, but if you are in that 3rd category, because of this coming out as such a major strength, I think that it won't necessarily be a problem for you. Maybe there are issues that you're having with coronavirus at the moment, or maybe there are issues you're having with your confidence, but once you do step out into those friendship circles, you will definitely begin attracting these people to you like a magnet. So the next card that we have for you is the Dreamer, which is the Fool in the Rider-Waite tarot deck. So with this card, I'm sensing that because of your life experiences, you have a very defined idea of what success should be and what success looks like for you, and you have I don't want to say your ego is defined by your social role, but I definitely sense that you have a defined idea of who you are, and that makes you maybe a bit scared or frightened to start brand new things where you're not seen as like in that powerful magnetic way that you used to. Perhaps you even have Scorpio influence in your chart. So I think that you need to take some time to be by yourself, and outside of performing for others, ask yourself what your true purpose is, what makes you light up from the inside, and just have a little bit more fun in life. Don't necessarily be so serious. And I think that you adopting that kind of more silly attitude towards life is going to allow for your inner goddess to birth even more beautiful things into existence, because that young playful energy is the energy of creation. That's the sacral chakra. And so when you're afraid to be silly, then it's like you're afraid to create almost. And I think you mitigate this by having a certain standard from which that you know that you can create and be seen as successful. So it's like, well, I am creating, I've created all of this stuff for myself, but I think you're not really connecting with that energy of like your inner child, perhaps, who just is here to have fun and play and doesn't care what others think of them, and she's not afraid to be seen as someone who's silly or incompetent because she knows who she is inside and within. So I think that you need to maybe also adopt like the idea of adventure when you're by yourself, because this is definitely going to increase your power. And so I think once you understand your purpose and you understand how to have fun by yourself and not needing like the support of others, for instance, you are going to increase your trust in yourself, which is going to lead to your inner goddess being able to manifest even more strongly. Okay, the next card that we have is the Full Moon in Gemini card. So this is so funny. You better be a Gemini at this point, because it's like we've had a ridiculous amount of cards that remind me of that very free kind of fairy-like energy. So I'm definitely seeing that within you. However, I do think that something you need to release is your desire to always know the full picture, to always understand everything, to feel like everything is under your grip, because I think that that takes away certain opportunities for you where, you know, it's a bit uncertain as to how things may go, but that's your destiny, that's your path. I think that there are opportunities that keep on appearing in your life, and messages that you may keep hearing in a synchronous way. Like there are synchronicities basically. And when they occur, you're like, well, I feel powerful here, and that's like unknown territory, unexplored territory. I don't know, it matches my vision, but I can't see how I can do that, blah, blah, blah. And I think you may give yourself reasons as to why you can't go on this adventure, why you can't try something new. And that is heavily slowing down the expression of your inner goddess. So I think when it comes to your divinity, it's really important to trust that your divinity is within you. It's not in the connections that you're able to maintain or the way that people see you. The way people see you that way because you are a divine being. And so if you go and start something else, you're going to bring your divinity there whether you like it or not. And maybe it won't emerge immediately, but if you're following your true purpose, which will come from you taking some time to step back and reflect and actually understand what it is that your inner goddess needs, then it won't be so scary committing to yourself in this way rather than necessarily committing to others. And so the next card that we have speaks of mental conflict. So I think that you are birthing a reality in which you're not seen as just one way. You're open to the idea of having sides because you understand that all sides of you are very like and beautiful, and it's like you don't have to just have one side to be accepted. I think right now you're only comfortable with showing one of your faces, when in reality maybe you have 4 or 5 faces, and this could come as a result of something like trauma splitting, because with the obsidian I am sensing that you may have gone through some difficult experiences over past lives and this life that have made you have a strong connection with understanding emotions as well as understanding other people as well. But I think that once you connect with that inner fairy like spirit who is unafraid of just starting something new and doing something different, and not doing it the run of the mill way as well, you're going to be more confident with sharing. I'm sensing that there are literally 5 sides of you and you're only comfortable sharing one. And once you reconnect with your roots, you reconnect with your actual passions outside of other people's expectations of you, you'll be able to confidently express these other 4 sides of you. And so right now it may be good to do this little exercise where you ask yourself, like, what am I currently comfortable with? What side of myself am I currently comfortable expressing? And I think that this is the more gothic dark side that we've spoken about. And then think about what 4 sides of myself am I not comfortable expressing, and what would it look like if I was comfortable expressing all four of these sides. So maybe there's a side of you that is just like completely, I don't want to say completely blonde because that's like an outdated stereotype, but you know, they're like, oh my god, like da 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 da, like it's more airy fairy, but not in a way that's like, oh, like she's so hot. It's more like, does she know what she's talking about? Maybe inside you have a fear of not being taken seriously because you're like not intelligent or something, and it's in reality like you are intelligent, but you do have that fairy, that more airy fairy side of you. So one way to completely connect with your inner goddess is, if that was you and you have that side of yourself which you're rejecting for fear of disapproval, really connect with like what's hot about that side of you, what's hot about being airy fairy and not having all of your answers before you, not having a defined opinion, and how can you embody that in a way that feels good to you? Because I think that for some of you that is the first repressed identity that you have that you're not comfortable embracing, and once you do, that's going to be like the switch for the other 3 aspects of yourself, because it's like the dark, serious, mysterious one sits there and the airy fairy one sits there in the shadow perhaps. So I think it's about connecting those 2 as the first like duality, and then letting the rest of the pieces fall in. Okay, but yeah, I think you're a very beautiful and powerful person, and maybe you do depend on other people as sources of support and to verify your identity, but just remembering that comes from within and letting that express outwards rather than thinking it comes from outwards and leads in. Because I think in your head, in reality, it goes from the inwards out, but in your head it goes from outwards in, if that makes sense. So I hope you know what I mean. If you do, then please leave a comment, because I love connecting with you in these readings. Last and final card that we have advises you to be bold and make the first move, and this is the cardinal moon. So a cardinal moon describes someone of the signs of Cancer, Capricorn, what are the other ones? Libra, as well as Aries. So you can see that those 4 signs are quite like, they set the tone, if that makes sense. They're quite go-getters, and then they like will lead and others will follow. So whether this is you setting the emotional tone of the space that you're in, as I said, you know, if you walk into a new workplace, you're going to be the one to set up the first drinks date. But I think in general, this card is coming up as the key to activate your inner goddess. So in every situation, every new situation that you go into, if there's a way that you're not feeling emotionally comfortable, make the first move and set the emotional pace. You know, the reason why you'd be the one to organize staff drinks is because you're probably like, I don't know any of these people, let me get to know them a little bit better, so that on the next shift, you know, I know what's up. So that's a very empowered place to come from, and of course, like, you're helping bring people together, which is also nice. But if there's ever a time that you feel uncomfortable, like especially emotionally, don't be scared to say something that sets up the outcome that you want to feel. So if you're feeling like you're not seen enough and like your opinions aren't heard, then say something that's really interesting so that people see you and hear you. And that is a very general example, but I think in general this is about you trusting within yourself that you have what it takes to create what you want, especially in social environments. And so when you want this, be that pioneer, be the one who makes the shift that maybe everyone was waiting to see anyway, but no one else had the balls or the courage to create that. So I definitely think that this is the key to activating your inner moon goddess. and that you're already definitely someone who is thriving in that inner moon goddess. But I've said the words inner moon goddess way too many times, so I think I'm going to bring this reading to a close. But I really hope that this message has resonated with you. And yeah, I'm just going to summarize 5 things that you can do to connect with your inner moon goddess. So the first one is to really share your emotional space with others. Don't be scared to express your emotions and embrace your emotions and all sides of yourself. With the dreamer, it's about you spending time alone without the opinions of others to kind of hold you back, and just releasing and expressing exactly how it is you feel and letting that energy trickle out around you as well. With the full moon in Gemini card, this was about releasing the need to know everything and also to be seen as a certain way, and not to releasing the desire to only follow opportunities that have a defined outcome, because you're so much bigger than this one thing. I'm sensing that you are a fractal of a person, but there are many ways that you only express one side of yourself. And so expressing this fractal is going to allow your inner goddess to fucking flourish and blossom and boom. It's going to be so beautiful. And with the mental conflicts card, I'm seeing that it's the same energy, that you are going to be seizing all sides of yourself and not feeling like you have to just express one side of yourself. And it's okay to be a balanced individual who has multiple roles in society, and maybe even doing the shadow work to acknowledge where your trauma was, where this splitting happened, and asking yourself, what sides of yourself are you scared to express? And with the 5th card, it's about transforming your social situations to mirror the reality that you wish to see, and not being scared that it won't work or it won't play out. Just being like, I am the one who makes this happen, because that is one of your gifts and skills. That's why we've gotten the 3rd house, the 3 of Cups, the Gemini card. You're definitely someone who is a skilled communicator, and the Venus as well. So let that shine, let that flow, let that flourish, and let others benefit from all of the blessings that you bring to every situation that you're in. So I've loved this message so much, and I hope that you have too. Please do share this reading with anyone you think would benefit, because I want everyone to step fully into their goddess energy. And yeah, wishing you a beautiful week, and I can't wait to see you in my next reading. Bye! Hey there to all of my beauties that chose pile number 2 with the gorgeous amethyst crystal. I'm sensing that for you, your inner goddess isn't someone who you actively channel and connect with, but she's someone who just effortlessly streams through you and is very visible to other people who observe you. But maybe, for instance, like you're a feminist and you don't really see like yourself as different to a man, which is what I guess one way to look into the world. But I am sensing that even though you feel this way, you have a very strong goddess energy, and so that may reflect in you not as being as open to like sharing about like things to do with your inner goddess with other people. Like maybe you feel like it's just something that you are, and that you don't have to talk about it or share it or exist within it specifically. I almost sense that it's like a space that you've reserved for you and you alone. But again, even though you might have that feeling about your inner goddess, I think other people definitely see you shine your inner goddess out like a beautiful gem. So yeah, let's go into this reading. So we have the 6th house first, which speaks about someone who is very dedicated to service, to serving others, and maybe throws it the fuck down in the kitchen. Maybe they're very organized, someone who likes to keep a very clean house. I think when it comes to maintaining your home, or even yourself, you have a certain ideal and you don't let yourself slip like below that ideal, because you know that that's what you deserve and that's what you need, and you're very responsible. And that is definitely one way in which you connect with your inner goddess. Next we have Pisces energy. So maybe you're a Virgo or a Pisces, because these two are sister signs. I think that you're someone as well with the amethyst crystal who is very dreamy, who has a beautiful vision of how the world should be, and maybe you have a very dreamy outwards I was going to say appearance, but experience came out. So maybe you live life in quite a dreamy way. Maybe you're always at new and beautiful places doing new and beautiful things. Maybe you really enjoy your life to just be, to feel wonderful. And so that when people ask you, like, how's your day been? You can always say wonderful, for instance. And I think this is something that definitely is connected with your inner goddess. So with the Piscean energy, I'm also sensing that you may be someone who has like psychic tendencies. You may have quite a strong aura, for instance. And I think that this is definitely a massive representation of the divine feminine within you. Okay, next we have Jupiter. Oh, sorry guys. We have Saturn. I thought it was Jupiter upside down. But yeah, with the Saturn planet, I'm sensing that you're someone who likes to follow rules and is quite obedient and Saturnian in nature. So it's like you're kind of the person who's like, well, if I do it this way, then this should happen. And then it does happen. And people are like, oh my God, like, how did she manifest all of this? Like, she's so successful, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, no, I just did what they said. They said, do A, B, and C, and then you'll get D. So I did A, B, and C, and now I have D. And so I think that you are able to, because of your obedience to this quite masculine energy, which is structure and rules, you were able to contain your divine feminine and allow her to express herself within these structures. So yeah, I think that is already very powerful, because with Pisces being ruled by Jupiter in part as well as Neptune, that is quite an expansive energy in itself already. And so I think that you are quite an expansive person, so you'll make the structure your own. So for instance, if you have certain days that you have to do something or be somewhere and like achieve your responsibilities, you're gonna say, okay, well, I'm gonna step into that space and I'm gonna fucking shine. Like, I'm gonna be so beautiful. I'm gonna blossom in that space. Whereas some other people might go in like hungover, they won't bring their A game. With the 6th house and Saturn, I'm sensing that you're someone who's very disciplined and is always gonna stand out in a space, because you're gonna be bringing your A game, because you care about structure, you care about Saturn's influence in your life. But now moving into the tarot reading, I'm going to talk about 5 ways specifically that you can connect with your inner goddess. And if you haven't already, it would be great to make notes throughout this reading, because I am going to try and talk about the 5 most useful ways that you can use to connect with your inner goddess. So the first card that we have for you is the solar plexus card. So immediately you're someone who has a lot of power, a lot of responsibility and authority, and you've gotten to this place by going down a route where you were seen as maybe not as impressive for going down this route, but it was a very powerful route that allowed you to embody your inner power and to learn the tricks of the trade at each stage as well. And I think, you know, even if it was like going to a class that wasn't seen as like professional or high standing by others, you were in that space like, I'm here to learn, bitch. Like, I did not come here to play. These people said that they can teach me how to get this way, and I'm gonna be this way. And because of that, you now have a lot of power and you're very respected by other people. And that just shows that you stuck with your inner power, your inner truth, your inner voice, your inner knowing. You're a very intuitive person, and you knew that this was the route that you needed to go down to get to the destination that you wanted to get to and to achieve your dreams. I sense that you're heavy in your bad bitch energy with this card, and that is definitely who your inner goddess is. Your inner goddess is a bad bitch. She's the bad bitch within you. So think about all of the times where you channeled that bad bitch energy. Yes, that was your inner goddess. And you'll probably notice like a series of different ways that your inner goddess expresses herself. Like there's almost a trigger. So you can work out what that trigger is that connects you with your bad bitch, and how to trigger that if you're in a different situation. So that's the first way that I think would be really good for you to connect even more with your inner goddess. Okay, so how to increase her power. The card that we have is teaching, which says that you inspire young people to learn. So this could be, you know, if you're a teacher already, because some of you will be, then this could be infusing that bad bitch switch into your lessons and finding out like, okay, so I know that when I'm put in this situation, my solar plexus rises out, my bad bitch within starts screaming, let me out, and she sings, and everyone respects me. I get what I need to get done. And so if you're a teacher, implementing that into the classroom, whether that's like an online classroom or you're literally teaching students, would be a really good way to take advantage of this power. Or if you're not a teacher, think about how you can begin to use your voice and your power to share your gifts with others. I think some of you may feel like you can't be a teacher, you don't have enough to teach. Maybe it's because, you know, you're looking at people who have worked at Google and all of these amazing companies, and you're like, well, I've just stayed in this company where I've gotten what I need to get done. Who would listen to me? What credentials do I have? But with what I was saying earlier, I think your credentials aren't in the position necessarily that you hold. It's in what you do in your day-to-day life, how you navigate through your day-to-day life. Your bad bitch energy is your credentials, and people, you need to show people that. People will see that as soon as they click on your video, or as soon as they engage with you or come to one of your classes. So I think it's about owning your experiences and knowing that you have enough to teach. Just find out, again, where is your bad bitch energy evident? What is the arena of life as well? For some of you, what house do you have? It may be the 6th house. So 6th house also talks about teaching and breaking down information into bite-sized chunks that other people can use and learn from, and having a very detailed understanding of the big picture and how everything fits together. So I think for some of you, getting into teaching will be an amazing way for you to increase the power of your inner goddess. And you can start doing this small, in a small way. You don't have to start with like being a lecturer. You could begin just making little videos, or becoming a tutor, or just something small that's like a bridge for you. But yeah, it's just also something that you may want to do in solitude. So you may want to practice teaching as well. So say you have a concept, how would you explain that to another person? Like a sim, like practicing that skill that they have. What is it? Like charisma. Like a sim practicing charisma in the mirror. Like maybe that can be you for a while until you become confident. Like maybe you can even record yourself, hear yourself speaking, and be like, actually, I showed them. In that little 30-second recording I made as if I was a YouTube star, I showed them. And I can't just let that skill go untapped. I can't just let that sit there, because I think that will empower you to make the moves that you need to next. So yeah, moving into the reading, we have the 3 of Pentacles. So again, mirroring the 3 energy of the solar plexus chakra, the 3rd chakra. So I think one thing that you do that takes away your power is by working with people too much. Maybe you feel like you're not so empowered in yourself, and so you ask people questions when you know the answer, or you reach out for support even when you can support yourself. And that is reinforcing your divine feminine and telling her that her power is only so limited, and that if she wants to achieve a certain power, she can't do that for herself, and that other people have to help her with that. So I think in order to step more into your confidence and your divine feminine, it would be really good to work more independently and not be frightened of, you know, if you don't know anything, to research it. Just like Google it. You don't have to ask someone else. I mean, okay, don't get me wrong, Googling is asking someone else, but it does feel a little bit different when you kind of go to someone like, oh my gosh, I'm so helpless, I don't know what to do, I have an idea, I have no idea how to do it, blah blah blah, to if you just Google like how to blah blah blah, because the energy that you're putting in those two things is different. I think that your divine feminine is actually a bit tired of waiting on other people, especially to do what you need. So, you know, by waiting on other people, someone might say, yeah, I can help you, like we can set an appointment, put an appointment up in a week. Whereas your divine feminine might be actually ready to go today if you just let her have that chance to explore herself. So that is one way that I think you could definitely connect more with your divine feminine. Okay. The next card that we have is the 10 of Spring, which speaks about asking for help from others, all work and no play, and being weighed down by too many responsibilities. So I think something that your divine feminine is currently birthing is a reality in which she actually takes on a lot of her own responsibilities. And because she has so many of her own responsibilities, that's why she asks for help from others. She's like, this is easy, but I know it needs to be done. So can someone who has the skills in this easy thing please come and help me? Not, oh my god, this is so hard and I can't do it unless I have the support of another, because she has complete confidence in herself. With the solar plexus chakra, that confidence is within, but maybe, you know, similarly to the first part, you've been boxed in in your life, and so you only feel comfortable expressing your divine feminine in a certain way, where she's been verified by others, you know you can perform in that avenue of life and things like that, when in reality I think it's going to be more about you having complete faith and confidence in your ability to achieve whatever it is that you set your mind to, whether or not there's someone there already with you. So the last card that we have is the Three of Cups. So another 3 card, which is such beautiful balance. So maybe you are someone who is literally physically very stunning, very attractive and beautiful. And so yeah, owning this within yourself is another way to connect with your divine feminine as well. Like as an authority, as a leader, like when you go into a friendship circle, for instance, seeing you as all equal and as all just as fabulous, all just as miraculous and beautiful, and not comparing yourself with others as much, because you may have a friendship group where you either want to downplay your success, or you know, not say your achievements, or not tell them that you think they're amazing because of fear that you're not amazing, and that can make your friends feel like you don't care as much about them because you're not complimenting them, when in reality it's because you think so highly of them and not highly enough of yourself. And so it could be really good to just like work on expressing yourself in social settings and not being scared of like judgment or criticism, and seeing yourself as equal to the people around you, because you are beautiful and you're a circle of goddesses, and it's like you've all got something, you know, there's 5 powers in this reading. Everyone's got something that uniquely connects them with their goddess energy, and so connecting with what that is specifically for you, I think will allow this energy to flourish and shine. But yeah, those are the main messages that I have for this reading. I'm just going to go over each point, so it's a handy way of seeing the 5 ways that you can connect with your inner goddess. So the first way that I said is to really own your power and recognize that you are a bad bitch, because you are a bad bitch. And maybe you think you're selectively a bad bitch. Nuh-uh, you are a bad bitch, so you got this. The second is through teaching. So if you're a teacher, I can't actually remember what I did say. Oh yeah, have a little switch that turns on your bad bitch when you're in lessons. Or if you're not a teacher, recognize that your experience is actually powerful enough to lead you to become a teacher if you wanted to, and do what it takes to empower you to be comfortable with sharing your voice and expressing your ideas. The 3 of Pentacles, I think that this is saying that you don't really need to depend on others so much as you feel like you need to. And the 4th thing with the 10 of Spring is that eventually you'll get to a stage where you depend on others only because you're so busy, because you've already achieved all your dreams, not because you need others to help you achieve your dreams. And with the 5th card, being really comfortable in your friendship circles, that you do have an opinion worth expressing, is going to definitely serve your inner goddess and your goddess energy in general. So yeah, I really do hope that this reading connected with you. If it did, then please leave a heart emoji down below, because I'd love to know if you got to the end of this reading. I love you so much and hope that you're having a beautiful day, and I can't wait to see you in my next reading. Bye! So hey there to everyone that chose pile 3 with the beautiful clear quartz. Immediately I'm sensing that you are someone who is very beautiful. Perhaps you have a really slender figure and like model-like features, and like a model-like appearance, and that people see your goddess energy through this way. Not to say that, you know, being like really lithe and slim is like the only way to be beautiful, but I definitely feel like you're someone who has that like conventionally attractive appearance that people kind of in our society today see as an ideal. Well, certain people see as an ideal. So what I'm getting to is that you may be someone who, for instance, like to spend a lot of time in nature, walking through nature, having your own beauty mirrored to you. You might live near a beach or be someone who spends a lot of time at the beach. You may have quite an athletic lifestyle and habits, even if you're not an athlete, so you might like to go on loads of walks or do a lot of things during the day. And I feel like within your essence you have captured the beauty of the nature around us in the 21st century, and this is expressed in your physical appearance, in the way that you live through your life. I think you're someone who's very well adjusted to like society, if that makes sense. So yeah, let's move into some astro dice and see what messages they have for you. So first up we have the Sun. So I feel like you're someone who connects with their inner goddess through their identity and their ego, and that you already do know that you're a goddess, and you see it like within yourself and within other people as a result of this. I think that when you go into a task, you're like, well, this is going to be fucking fantastic, isn't it? Because I'm doing it. So they've probably been waiting for me all week to arrive just so that I can be here and do the damn thing. And guys, if this isn't resonating with you, like what I've said so far, then please do choose another reading, because specifically for my group number 3s, even if like you may come from a different culture than like the Western British culture, but where I am in Britain, like it is definitely more socially accepted for people to have really slender figures. So what I'm saying is that your figure is very like accepted and appealing to the people around you. So whether you come from a culture where people are more curvy, like that's what I'm saying, that you within your social group, you're very accepted as an ideal by other people. So yeah, this may also say that you have quite a big ego as well, so that you know that you have these features and these traits, and that you're like really appealing to others. And I think that you use this to your advantage, and you're aware of how to use this to your advantage as well. So next up we have Capricorn energy. So you're someone who is very dedicated to your role in society. So for instance, if you're working a job, you're going to show up every day, you're going to do the shit, you're going to go back home, and you're going to know that you've done what needs to be done, and you've taken care of your responsibilities. You might not have a lot of like lingering pressure to work whilst you're at home, because you definitely like perform, how do I say this, if you have 3 hours to do a job and you're meant to perform at a certain level in that 3 hours, you're gonna finish it in that 3 hours. Whereas some people might say like, oh, I have to take this home and finish it, or like, oh, it might take me 6 weeks to do this, like I'm gonna quit this job. I think you're gonna just take whatever challenge is given to you by life and do your best. And I think you have a high self-confidence, and that this reflects in how you approach things. And like with the law of attraction, we know that our beliefs are what shape us, and so your beliefs are definitely reflective in the way that you approach life. And this isn't to say that you have a perfect life, but you're definitely someone who other people may see as having a perfect life, for instance. Okay, so with the first house, again, the Sun in the first house, so you definitely express your goddess energy through your identity and your personality, and the way that you approach others, the way that you approach life and situations, the things that you have around you in your home environment, the way that you dress, your fashion sense. All of these things heavily mirror your goddess expression and your goddess energy, which is so powerful, you guys. Okay, moving into your reading, the first card that we have for you is the Pillar of Light, which says that your vibration is rising and that you are the Oracle. So maybe people see you as someone who has a very high vibration as a result of how you maintain yourself, and maybe you actually do have a very high vibration and you've already matured into your goddess energy. Like, I think you're confident in your goddess energy now, whereas maybe you weren't previously in the past. But I don't think you've ever had like a wildly difficult battle with connecting with your goddess energy. It's something that you've always just felt resides within you, whereas for other people may struggle to recognize that and see them within themselves. And so your inner goddess is someone who definitely is aware of her very strong vibration and actually tugs with others to bring them up to her vibration rather than like meeting them down below. So people may sometimes pull you down and you don't fall there. Again, you're not perfect. Sometimes your vibration will be lowered, but usually that's from something within you. So for instance, if you've had a bad day at work, your vibration may be lower. But if someone tries to pull you down to their vibration, you instead meet them where you are, and that is definitely something that activates the goddess within you as well. Okay, so with the Five of Cups being the next card, I am sensing that there may be a tendency for you to bottle your emotions inside and seem as if everything is perfect and okay, and that you're this beautiful spiritual being of light and that nothing bad ever happens to you. But deep down, I think that you are holding on to some shadow aspects of yourself which you need to release. And so it may be good to spend some time alone, maybe crying, reflecting on some of the more difficult experiences of your life. I think there's something that definitely feels like a blockade to you. Like, you feel like it's too big for you to actually understand the emotions behind what happened, and that you have to, I think you feel like maybe in 3 years you're going to be able to finally talk to someone about what happened, for instance. Because it feels like it was so painful. Maybe this is a childhood wound from your past, and that this is definitely reflecting in your experience with others. So maybe you've been through some difficult relationships, and you know, you have this aura like everything is perfect, but I'm just not going to ever get in a relationship again. Like, I'm okay single. And it's like, maybe you don't need a relationship, but you definitely do need to work on the wounds of that thing, because even if it's not a relationship for you, it's something that is definitely, you're holding on to it too tightly for it to be something that's healthy. Do you know what I mean? So if you're holding on to something in a really rigid way in your life, examine what that is within yourself, because I think that is definitely affecting your ability to understand your own divinity and your own power. Because I think you saw yourself very powerless or weak in a certain situation that happened in your past, and that you may, even though you see yourself as powerful, you're not exploring an aspect of yourself, and so you may have some inner child healing to do. So when you're alone, you know, maybe you feel like you can't talk to anyone about this. I think it would be nice to have support. Maybe you could talk about this with a therapist or a close friend. But when you're alone, actually spend some time reflecting and journaling and meditating on what it was that hurt you so badly, that, like I said in the example, this doesn't have to be this for you, that makes you not want to get into relationships anymore. Because I think this is going to be your superpower, and you're going to be able to help a lot of women who are in this situation to rise up into their power and make that their superpower as well, which is just beautiful. I'm sensing such a beautiful energy from this power already. Okay, so with the next card, it says that confidence is your key to success. So I think that one way that you take away your power is maybe by having too big an ego. With the sun coming up in the first house, maybe you're a Leo or an Aries, or you have a lot of fire in your chart, but you have this almost cocky approach sometimes, where you're like, yeah, because you, okay, I have said in this reading that you're powerful, everything that you do is amazing, blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, we are all human, so perhaps you take away your inner goddess's power by being quite narcissistic at times, or approaching things by not giving other people like the grace in a situation. Maybe you're like, well, I am the powerful one, these bitches could never get on my level, and you don't say that to them like verbally, but the way that you go about the dynamic makes them realize that you don't think so highly of them. And I think your inner goddess needs you to realize that you're not perfect either, that you show the exact symptoms that these people are showing, and actually you, well, I said symptoms as if it's like a disease, so maybe you do literally look at other people as if like their disease, your reality is very like and wonderful and perfect. And it's like maybe 3 lifetimes ago you were literally that person, and that's why you're so repelled by the idea of being that person. I think you just need to open your heart chakra a little bit more and understand that people are all people, and that there are things that other people can do that you 100% could not do, and would look so ridiculous and stupid doing if you ever did try it. And I don't mean that to be like mean, like you look so stupid doing this thing, but it's like, just realize that we are all perfect and flawed at the same time. And it's like, just because you're 80% perfect and 20% flawed doesn't mean that someone who's 60% perfect is like 20% less good than you. It doesn't mean that. It means that they are who they are. They're expressing their own divinity within themselves, and that's okay, and you should too, rather than only expressing your divinity as related to the divinity of other people. So there may be an ego trap that you may have fallen into here, but that's okay, because you are in your goddess energy, and like we're all learning, we're all like on our journey to divinity. So next up we have the Fool. So Something that you may be birthing and expressing within yourself soon is maybe a desire to travel and to just cut yourself free from some of the chains and responsibilities that you feel are currently on you. I think that you're going to be moving into a brand new arena of your life soon, and your inner goddess has put that in place because she knows that you're finally ready to express yourself within a certain environment that was previously maybe a bit toxic for you or stagnant. So maybe you're going back into an environment, or maybe you're releasing yourself from a current environment. For some of you it's going to be both here, but in general I think that your inner goddess is wanting for you to finally be confident, for you to express yourself in a new arena of life. And maybe that's even why this 5 of Cups is relevant. Maybe there's a difficult, heartbreaking situation, and you may be going into a situation like that or similar to that, and you're going to have to bring a new energy to that situation in particular. Okay, the last card that we have is the Queen of Winter, which says to let go of people or things that no longer serve you. So guys, following the Fool, I'm getting the energy like cut them clean, cut them loose. Maybe there's a person, maybe this is a job, maybe this is a location. There is a change that I think you're thinking about right now, wondering if it's the right time, if that's for you, blah blah blah. But really, you know that this situation is limiting how much you can express your divinity. So maybe there's a job role which you perform tremendously in, but you know that that job role is only catering to a certain version of your divinity, and you're required to now step out of that. Like you're ascending past that vibration, and so you do need to let go of this attachment. So it also says now is the time to focus on your career, and it speaks about unmarried or divorced individuals. So it doesn't mean that you're divorced, doesn't mean that you're going to break up with someone if you're in a loving relationship. But if there's a friendship, you know, and it's no longer serving you, and maybe, okay, I think for you, if it is friendship, it's going to be the kind of thing where it's like you were friends with someone, and then you stopped being friends with them for a while, and now you've got a friend who is really similar to the person that you stopped being friends with, and it might be the case that you like stop being friends with the new friend and go back to being friends with the old group of friends or something like that, and now you have to have learned the lessons from your current toxic friend to be a better friend to your new group of friends, or to be a bit stronger in your identity in your new group of friends. So in that example, you can replace friends for the idea of a job or a certain place. You know, maybe you were living somewhere before and you escaped it to somewhere a bit more calm, and now you're going back to that place, and you have to bring the lessons you've learned from this calm place to the new place. So hopefully you can see what I'm meaning in this example. But in general, I think you're seeking a lot more freedom and novelty. So to summarize the 5 ways that you can connect more with your goddess or your goddess energy is to really own the fact that you are a being of light, and that you're activating, and that your vibration is getting more high every single day, and be comfortable in that fact. As the second thing you can do is, whilst you're alone, spend some time to actually reflect on the less positive of emotions that are currently like within your energy field, and don't be scared to reach out to support if you need it. With the new moon and Leo card, I think it's going to be really good for you to maybe have a more humble approach and not see yourself as superior to others all the time. With the Fool, your inner goddess is wanting to manifest a change in curriculum, a change in course. She's done with what she's, I don't know why I said 2 fucking things that are related to education, so maybe this is even related to you studying a new subject or walking down a new avenue of life. With the Queen of Winter as the 5th thing that you can do to connect with your inner goddess, this is about cutting out toxic people, or if there's an environment that you're in that no longer serves you, taking that move to focus on your own well-being and what you specifically need to thrive. And these cards definitely do come together, as well as the Queen of Winter, I think, the Queen of Winter related to the 5 of Cups and the new moon in Leo card. So those are the main messages that I have for you guys. If this resonated, please do leave a cloud emoji below, because I would love to connect with you even further. A rainbow cloud emoji specifically. So I love you guys so much and hope this connected with you. I can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye! So hey there to all of my loves that chose the rose quartz crystal. Immediately I'm sensing that you're someone who is very beautiful and has a lot of love for other people, a really warm heart. and generally just wants to see everyone shine and everyone successful, which is so cute. It's like you want to just nurture everyone and help them grow and be better people, and that really reflects in, I was gonna say, in your show. Maybe some of you guys are performers, or like you have a certain like show or something that you do for people. Maybe you're like into social media, but in any case, I see that people definitely see that through you, that loving and like motherly, caring, warm energy. Let's move a little bit into your astro dice. So first up, we have the sign of Sagittarius. So maybe you're someone who is connected a lot with different kinds of philosophies and wants to understand the world and the universe, and actually goes out and does the things that they wish to see in the world rather than just like waiting for them to happen around them. I think you're definitely a go-getter, and that you have a very high ideal and vision for how you see the world. Next up we have, this is Jupiter, right? Yes, you're a very expansive person. I've said that you love to see other people grow, and maybe in general you just love to be the thing that makes things grow. You love to expand. So maybe even through your life, you know, you may have an idea to start, like maybe feel like your journey is to start off somewhere small and expand and expand and keep on growing, keep on improving, keep on getting better. And because of this, you may be into like healing modalities and techniques where it's about liberating old energy so that it's allowed to expand and you're given room in the new space that you have fostered and created for yourself. The next dice we have is the 11th house. So you may be someone who's really into social media, into technology. Maybe you have quite a technological mindset, and you're like really good with computers or something like that, where your brain is almost like, I don't want to say that you're part AI, but like you definitely have a future-minded focus, and maybe you even have like an otherworldly appearance. For this reason, maybe some of you are starseeds, because the 11th house and Jupiter are very like future focused signs and cards, and even Sagittarius is quite a future focused card as well. So I sense that you're someone who has a vision and you believe in your vision, and you're like, I'm gonna drive there, I'm gonna get a ferry there, I'm gonna hop there, doesn't matter how I get there, I'm gonna get there, like, okay, do I have to do shadow work for 3 years or 10 seconds? It doesn't matter. I'm going to get there. Doesn't matter what I need to do to get there. Guys, I've told you I'm going to get there. So that's the kind of energy. I know that it almost sounds like I was nagging there, but I feel like I was just channeling your energy and that persistence and strength that you have. So, yeah. Cool. So moving actually into the cards for this reading. So the first card that we have says, okay, she is the blue moon card and says that you need to believe in the impossible. So with the blue moon, I'm almost sensing like the energy of once in a blue moon, that you're a really rare energy, and it's almost like you're a diamond, like a part of your essence has been captured into something so rare and unique and beautiful. And you may be someone who has sometimes felt like a diamond covered in dust, but all you have to do to a diamond is brush off the dust, and all of a sudden you've awoken a diamond. So that's amazing, go you. And I think with you, it's just about like appearance is everything, and so it's about you like letting your appearance shine through and brushing off those layers of dust on your appearance, whether that's like your punctuality, whether that's your physical features. Maybe some of them are really beautiful, but you've not spent time like with them and acknowledging them to see their beauty and understand your unique beauty. Maybe others have put dust on you, and whatever it is, like you are very rare and unique. Like maybe people have seen how rare and unique you are, and they've just tried to put you into a box and say like you are this thing that I've been told about the world, and so they've literally poured like layers and layers of dust on you, and so now you're emerging from that, maybe a bit like shaken, maybe not used to even seeing beautiful things in the world, because it's like you've been around so many ugly things that it's like when you meet someone like you, you're almost afraid of how to react, because then you have to confront that you are this person as well, and you're like, shit, how do I go about these feelings? I thought that we were all dust, like go away. Like you almost do get a bit frightened. So I think for you connecting with all of the aspects of you that are so beautiful and then make you into this diamond is going to allow for your inner goddess to express herself as much as possible. Okay, with the Lemuria card, this card says, oh my god, you guys are so beautiful and cute. It says, talk about creating heaven on earth, and it's happening. So maybe you are a starseed or someone who's like almost is from the future. So maybe there's a part of you in the future that is heavily just sending radio waves to your past self, like, here's what you need to do to move towards the future. Here's how you fucking align to the future. And they're trying to send it as hard, that message as hard as they can, so that you can really see the way forwards. So I think in your own solitude, you need to take steps to create a vision for humanity. All of a sudden, I'm speaking super slowly because I think I'm just getting this feeling that you need to hear this message right now. So if you don't have a pen and paper already, I think if you could jot down some of these messages, because I think they're definitely made for you. You need to figure out, what is your vision of humanity? What do you want to see for humanity? Because that is your very specific purpose. How can you unlock and awaken your purpose? What would it look like? What modality do you want to use to awaken and unlock your purpose? Your inner wisdom already knows what it is that you're here to do. I feel like crying, you guys. You're so, like, you have such a great vision, but for you, the way to unlock this vision is by actually believing that it's here and it's going to manifest, and believing in the impossible, because you are a visionary. You do things that people have not done before. You shine light on things that no one has shone light on before, and you get downloads specifically from the divine. It's like you make love to the universe and create a love child, and it's like other people are like, where did you get that idea? Like, I can't see the father. Like, who gave you that idea? And you're like, well, I just created it for myself from source. From source? You like are engaging with source? Like, how do you mean we can't engage with source? You're clearly bullshitting. You're making it up. You're lying. And it's like you just need to keep creating these love children and not allowing the opinions and judgments of others to get to you, because you are such a fertile and divine and unique being, and you've got a rarity that not a lot of people have seen before. So really embrace your beauty, because I think your beauty has been spoken out of you. Like, people have told you it doesn't exist, and it does. You need to listen to your beauty a little bit more. So ask yourself today, what one thing can you do to, number one, acknowledge your beauty, and number two, to connect with your beauty. Okay. So while I've said that you are someone who, you know, has a vision and is very visionary in general, you need to stop looking to the future as your destination, and actually work with and deal with what's in the present, because your goddess lines you up, aligns you to, for your present moment, to be exactly what you need to do to awaken all of these dreams and these visions that you have. So I mentioned that you may be on social media. You might be saying right now, oh my god, I need to have 1,000 followers, or else I'm worthless, blah 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 blah. And your inner goddess is not giving you 1,000. Like, do you realize some people get 1,000 followers in a day? So for some people it takes 10 years, and it's like you can control these in certain ways, but you need to trust that if you're not there today, then it's because you're not meant to be there today. You could be there today. There's ways to get you there today, but your higher self has not put you in alignment with that, like, opportunity just yet. And so what opportunities do you have in your life? How can you nurture these opportunities in your life? What do they mean for you? Really working with the present moment, because I think you take away your power by dreaming of the future, because it's your present that creates your future. And I'm feeling that for a lot of you, this has been a synchronicity that's been reappearing in your life. You've been having this message delivered to you in a variety of sources. Pay attention to what's in front of you physically right now. Yes, you have all of these visions and dreams, but when you're in solitude, really just think about how you can create these now, rather than saying, I need to be this kind of person, influencer, respected role model before I can accept my responsibilities as a starseed on this earth. Because I think a lot of you starseeds, or like, at least you spent a couple of times in like the different dimensions, or that you are someone who has a very certain vibration that is very similar to a starseed, at least. Cool. So with the spiritual strength card, something that you do that takes away her power is maybe relying on spirituality a little bit too much as your source of strength. And so again, maybe you're a star seed, you're a very highly spiritual person, but this could look like something like if you give all of your power to a specific religion or a specific way of being, and that makes you powerful. And maybe you're so obsessed and focused with this power because, again, maybe you just are a highly spiritual person and it feels like home for you and to you, and maybe you even have a longing to go back home to somewhere where everything is just spiritual all the time. But you need to realize that that's not your purpose here on earth, to go back home. You were home, and now it's your, oh my god, I want to cry again, it's your responsibility to show the people of earth what home looks like for you, what this utopia where you dream of going back to, what does that look like, and how can you create that? Don't say, I need to be the most spiritual person. You already are. You already are. That's in your birthright. And so for you, it's about finding out how you can bring your spiritual gifts to others, how you can share your vision with the world, rather than trying to just hide away in spirituality. And so yeah, there's some really beautiful colours and imagery. I'm seeing a lot of pink as well so far. So I think that you've got a very strong heart chakra, and working with the heart chakra and infusing that into wherever you can, as well as nurturing your own heart chakra, is going to help you a lot. And creating heaven on earth vision that I spoke about in your future. I think creating heaven in your every waking moment is where it is for you, because then that heaven is going to transmit to other people. So like, if for instance your interior decorating is not done right now and your home doesn't feel like heaven, it would be a good time for you to realize, like, plan today if you want, how could you create that heaven within you? How could you create that heaven in your environment? I'm thinking that a lot of you are leaders, but not necessarily leaders like telling people what to do. I think it's more like you're pioneers, like you come up with new ideas, new ways of doing things that haven't been done before, and that is your strength. And connecting with your beauty is going to connect you with your strength. And connecting with your strength is going to lead to increased financial abundance, increased material abundance. And as I'm saying this, the sun is setting where I am, and it's really pink, mirroring all of the colours in your reading. So I think that for you, it's going to be really important for you to realize that you are literally beautiful like a sunset. Like, you are that kind of person. Maybe you've got the energy of a sunset as well, where it's like when the sun sets, it's like the darkness is coming. There is definitely darkness there. There's a night, but it's that one sweet moment before the night. Maybe it's that you're that relief that people find in dark times, for instance. So like, this is gonna sound so vague, but I feel like a sunset as a metaphor to describe you may actually help you to love yourself a little bit more. So maybe you could even write a poem to yourself, or a letter if you're not comfortable with that kind of thing, or even just journal about how you specifically remind yourself of a sunset. Okay, maybe you can make a list of like 5 points to begin with, or 3 points if that's too much. Like, what I'm just saying is just try and connect yourself with something beautiful, because I think that's going to help you to love yourself a lot more, and that's what your inner goddess definitely needs from you. The last card that we have is the Six of Pentacles, which speaks about generosity and giving. So maybe one key way that you're not currently connecting with your inner goddess is by giving to other people. Like, I think you love other people. You've got a strong, maybe even an overachieving heart chakra. So I feel like you just do too much, and then you get burnt out when it comes to love. You love so hard, and then there's no love left, and then you've got to just withdraw it. And I think your heart chakra has been through a lot, to say the least, and that I think a healthier place for you to get your heart chakra is just giving small bits of love all the time, rather than giving massive bits of love barely ever, if that makes sense. So it's like, people might see you once every 3 months, and you just like completely declare your love for them and show them all of these beautiful things and make them feel like they're on top of the world, and then just not see them again for like 3 months. And it's like, maybe that could kind of hurt them because they miss you, and you maybe don't realize that, and you're like, I'm just burnt out, I can't do anymore, I can't give anymore. But maybe like, if this is the difference between calling someone for 10 hours and messaging them for 5 minutes a day, like maybe rather than expecting those 10-hour calls, you could just send small messages, and let this apply to you however it needs to. Like, ask yourself, what area of life that am I not so generous, and what can I do to be more generous in this way? Like, how can I give smaller bits of love that actually like help me and help other people to feel loved? Because you love giving love, so it's like, I think your heart chakra, it just, maybe it's given love so hard and then it stopped giving love because it couldn't anymore. And I think this left quite a permanent dent on your heart chakra, and I'm not saying it's permanent forever. And as a star seed, I think it's that's definitely part of your destiny, to give these high levels of pure love, this very high vibrational love. But it's for you to find your own mental peace and clarity. It's very important for you to find a way to balance that in a way that doesn't feel draining for you. And also, like, when it comes to receiving love, maybe you're the same, you only accept 100 or 0, and you're not so comfortable with the in-between. So I think balancing your heart chakra, which is definitely overactive and overachieving right now, would be a really great way for you to connect more with your goddess energy. So yeah, I really love you guys, and I hope this message resonated with you. If it did, please leave a little dog emoji, because I think you guys are cute like a puppy. So yeah, I hope you guys are having a great week, and I'll see you in my next reading. Bye. So hey to all of my beauties that chose group number 5, last but not least, with the celestite crystal. So with this crystal, I'm sensing you're someone who is very grounded into reality. Maybe you're quite like materially focused, and so you're on a really good career path, or you're doing really successfully, you really love to flourish. And that is one way that you connect with your inner goddess, that you're that material diva who just goes out and gets everything she wishes for. Okay, let's go into the astro dice that we have. So firstly, we have the sign of Libra. So you might be someone who is very fair-minded, balanced and objective, and is able to put in whatever work is necessary to get them to a specific goal and achieve it. So that might look like you working tirelessly or working long hours in order to get what you wish to reach. And that is one way that you definitely connect with your goddess energy. With the 10th house, another career dice, and so you're someone who is working steadily up the career ladder. You know, you're the kind of person that is going to be noticed in your career and maybe chosen for promotions, or if this isn't promotions, you may be someone who's super comfortable leading a team and being the person that people approach when they need a question answered, because you have put in the work to have knowledge about that specific area, which is so admirable about you. Next, with the moon, you may, for instance, be a cardinal sign such as a Cancer, a Libra, a Capricorn, or a Aries. And so this leads to you taking a lot of initiative and having a lot of new ideas, and people are able to kind of respond well to your ideas. And I think intuitively you know what has to be done, what has to be said, you understand what has to be created next. I think you have a very good understanding of everything that's going on around you intuitively, and you pride yourself in understanding what's going on around you as well. But now, moving on from astro dice, we can start with the cards in your reading. If you have not yet selected and gotten a notepad and pen, then it could be really good for you to make some notes as you're doing this reading. The first card that we have for you is the Emperor. So immediately, I think some of you may be men watching this reading and want to know about how you can nurture your divine feminine. And if you're of a more feminine expression, then I'm just sensing that your divine feminine energy is kind of withheld in some aspects of your life. But all the same, you have found the perfect container for your divine feminine to flow. So for instance, maybe you're really career focused and you've found a career that is you doing exactly what you want during the day that makes you feel happy. So maybe you have a really high paid job, but your responsibilities are easy to you because you've found a way to navigate. So if this message doesn't fit with you, then I'm sorry, and I think that you should go back and choose another pile, because this is specifically for my goddesses who are more in touch with their inner masculine and who are quite career oriented and quite career focused. So if that does not sound like you, then these messages will not apply to you, and I think you should go back and choose another pile. So again, we actually have the Emperor again, so that is massive confirmation. Again, very strong in that Aries energy, that Capricorn energy, that cardinal energy. You get the job done. You are hard working. You know what it takes to achieve your vision. This is the first time I've gotten the Emperor twice in a row as well. So maybe you're a CEO, but not like of a small company. Like if you're a CEO, you've got your own company that you work for really resourcefully. And if you're not a CEO, within your crowd of people at work, you are taken, like I sense that you're in your God energy, and that's what makes you seem so goddess-like, if that makes sense. Like your ability to be seen as a god shows people the goddess within you. So that's also how you can increase your power as well, by working out that authority within you. So maybe in solitude, finding out some areas of your life where you don't feel like you're currently the authority, and spending some time to work out how you can specifically channel authority in that one area of your life, because that is the way that your divine feminine expresses itself. So for instance, you know, if it's like you're not having that much fun in your relationship, spend some time to work out how you specifically can put something in place that allows for you to have fun in your relationship. So, okay, moving on next. The card that we have is the Disseminating Moon, which says take time to breathe out. So something that you may take away her power is by, because you've set up this home for your divine feminine to live within, this beautiful home where she's able to express herself so comfortably. That's very good. But when you step out of that container, let me show you with my hands. So your divine feminine is here. You put a container around her so that she is very well encased. And then once you're no longer in that container, your divine feminine is like she doesn't know what to do, because she's used to being so protected by the divine masculine. She's like, I don't know how to express myself now. What do I do? And it's because your divine masculine is going from 100 to 0 to 100 to 0. And I think your divine feminine gets a bit fractured, because when she's in that space where her divine masculine is really strong, she's also really strong, because she's like, okay, so I can grow into this space now. I can express myself within this space. And then when you're out of that space, like maybe you're not so sure about how you can merge the two versions of yourself. So maybe this is the difference between you doing everything and doing nothing. And so you might have like a tendency to overeat, to binge eat or something when you're not working so hard. And so I don't think you're engaging in self-care more than I wouldn't say self-pity, but more self-soothing. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, I've had a hard day, I should just, you know, take the whole day off and forget about my dreams and just like not work out and not do things that actually help me because I've been working so hard. Whereas in reality, maybe your inner goddess could speak out a little bit more against your divine masculine. So when you put yourself in these really restricted environments, maybe your divine feminine is actually wanting to say, I don't like these environments so much, I don't like what they make me do, or I don't like this very specific thing about it. So what I'm actually going to do instead is transform this approach and say, how can I make sure that my divine feminine is tended for and cared for, rather than setting up this cage around her where she is able to achieve what your divine masculine needs in your career specifically. Hopefully that made sense, you guys, because it did get a bit wordy at times. But okay, the next card that we have is the Eight of Wands. So we have the Emperor twice and the Eight of Wands. So that is a big whoosh kind of motion for me. Like when I'm seeing this, I'm sensing that you are birthing massive success and prosperity and things to be moving very fast around you. So if this is a career thing, you're going to be getting a promotion, rising up within your career, increases in finances. Maybe you're manifesting a quite fast-paced lifestyle where there's not so much time for you to do the things that you need to do. And I think that your divine feminine is looking to express herself in your downtime that you're currently spending, maybe like doing something that just takes your mind off everything. Maybe your divine feminine is actually wanting to be a bit more creative in that space. And when you are finally able to nurture yourself within your work environment enough to be able to not have to just slack off completely when you're not at work, then your divine feminine is going to finally have time to express her creativity. And so for you, I think it's about balancing your work with play and finding a way to get to this space so that you can really settle into this accelerated motion that's coming for you, because I am seeing a lot of like high power for you guys. Wow. Okay, so the key to activate your inner goddess is through yoga. Definitely through yoga, through moving your body, through allowing energy to move within your body, because I'm sensing that you have a very rigid appearance. You're very structured, you like things done a very certain way, and I just feel like you need a little bit more flexibility for your divine feminine and your inner goddess to be able to fully feel nurtured and supported. So there may be emotions that you've just completely avoided thinking, and those might be stored in the little crease between your elbow and, you know, the bottom of your forearm, and you wouldn't know that until you spend 10 seconds in downward dog per day and that part of your body finally gets stretched and finally gets released. And that's why yoga isn't just exercise, it's literally emotional healing. Yoga is therapy, and so even if you don't want to get therapy, maybe you're more emotionally reserved and you're focused on your career and you don't have as much space for your emotions need that space, and your emotions are taking up space whether or not you like it. The mind is 95% subconscious, sorry, and so your emotions are there whether or not you're acknowledging them, and actually they're the powerhouse of your own ship. So taking that space that is like, I'm going to do yoga and actually connect with my inner goddess, connect with my emotions, connect with how I'm feeling, that will allow for a lot of activation and release from within. So I hope that these messages resonate with you for wherever you are along your journey, and that these have allowed you to find out how you can embrace your inner goddess. Just because the title of this video is specifically about 5 ways that you can connect with her, I'm going to summarize those for you now. So firstly, your inner goddess is someone who is a big boss, a CEO babe, and really is respected and achieves a lot of success. And so owning this characteristics within yourself is going to help you to connect even more with your inner goddess. Secondly, we have the Emperor again. So I think that this is also about you spending some time alone and working out where it is that you're not able to be completely in your own power. Where in your life do you feel powerless, and what could you do? What could you initiate with the cardinal energy that we have here? What could you initiate that allows for you to step more into your inner power? With this emanating moon, this is about finding ways to engage in self-care so that you don't have to self-pity so much when you're working on that 0 to 100 kind of basis. Find that self-care so that you're more on the in-between, and so that you can actually find space to allow for this accelerated motion that will come when, that's the fourth thing, which will come when you are finally in a space where you're able to create a little bit more in your off time and give more to your downtime. Things will begin manifesting very quickly around you. Maybe this is even a new career. Maybe you're going to be making a lot more money in a new kind of way. Maybe you're going to get really into art or something where you're able to be more creative and not have to follow rules and restrictions so strictly. And the fifth thing that you can do to connect with your inner goddess is yoga, because this will massively put you in touch with your emotions and allow for emotional freedom. And maybe this is even emotional freedom techniques such as tapping, but there's some space that's needed to be made for your divine feminine, and boy oh boy has she been waiting to be expressed completely. It's like, think about the analogy that I just gave you, where I said that you've got this cage, that's your divine masculine, and your divine feminine is within it. And then in your off time, your divine feminine is just there like flopping around, and your divine masculine is like, oh. What's going to happen is your divine masculine is going to be in a cage and your divine feminine will encase. And on the other side of the spectrum, you know, you currently have that. So it's about working to achieve that balance and bringing that on your on time, allowing your inner masculine to take the role. But maybe in your downtime, it could be good to really dive into self-care, acknowledge your emotions, acknowledge your feelings, you know, do whatever it makes for you to feel like maybe like pamper yourself, treat yourself to something spa-like in tendency, because this can really do a lot to help you to connect with your inner goddess. So yeah, those are all of the messages that I have for you, group number 5. I've loved doing this reading for you so much, and I just hope that this reading really resonated and connected with you. Blessed be, and I love you so much. Bye.